Now, with inflation officially at 8.6% and climbing, you might be looking for help to achieve financial safety. Call them and Noble Gold's experts will share their knowledge of gold IRAs. And if you're quick, they're giving away an incredible 1/10 ounce American Eagle Gold Proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team now at 877-646-5347 to find out more or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here, and we are back with a favorite of yours. Insider James joins us for the third conversation, a man that has been in many fields, from entertainment to the faith community, sports, finance, politics, and has been in the inside circle of these realms and is now coming forward to share shocking, sometimes very disturbing, but also deeply inspiring stories. James, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you, John. This has been fun. Looking forward to a little more here. We'll see.
Yeah. So, and I want to point everyone to the first two conversations. We're going to put the links in the description and probably something up here somewhere, so you can go and watch the first two conversations with James. His heart, just like mine, is always in the right place in terms of everything we do is to somehow help better improve the state of the world that we're in right now. Right, James?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's becoming pretty obvious that there's a whole other narrative side to everything, and some slightly devious, if not greatly devious, things going on. So yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that people are seeing is that everything seems to be inverted, upside down. So everything is quite the opposite of what it appears on the surface to be. And a lot of times it helps to get actual stories from someone who's seen how the mechanism works, from someone who's seen what is really discussed in the background, to connect the dots. So we really appreciate that you're willing to share these stories. And I'd like to begin today, first of all, to introduce the fact that you have been quite involved in political campaigns as well, and have been in that realm as well. And there's one particular story, I want to jump right into it, that I remember that kind of shocked me, because everybody knows this phenomenon out there and has been known it for a few years now. When we talk about the Q phenomenon, this whatever this campaign or this group, or we don't know, right? Whoever that was, everybody knows it. It came to the surface in 2017, revealed a lot. It might be a big psyop. It might be a conspiracy. We simply don't know. But everybody has learned a lot through those Q drops. What is interesting is that you have kind of, like, as a side note, once told me while we were sitting together that you have heard Q being mentioned way before it became public. Can you share that story?
Yeah. Well, so on the political side, I've done I've done typically as a consultant advisor, kind of more on marketing, media, that type of stuff, and handling, actually being a handler, which is kind of like in music business, you call it a road manager type thing or whatever. So one of the instances, I was flown to Washington, D.C. for a marketing meeting, which I really didn't know what to expect. And it was I just knew it was media related. And they kind of got into the campaigning using social media.
What year was that?
I think it was 2015, maybe 16, but it was during that campaign. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you don't really totally know, you just know a topic, and I just knew it was going to probably get down to social media, marketing type stuff. And that meeting had quite a few people from different categories of marketing or media, if you will, and even different campaigns, together. It was a fairly large meeting. And so we're talking about it, and they're kind of talking about how the last few presidency and campaigns have worked, and really truly trying to come up with, the new plan. What's the new way of grabbing people through the social media? And typically what happens is once someone figures out how to use a certain media, that's done until the next campaign. Someone's got to come up with something new and different, right? Especially if a certain side figures it out, the other side wants to, that's no longer an option. So in this case, I guess I'll just say it was more on the conservative side. We'll just say that the meeting was based on that. So in this meeting, we're talking about reviewing, reflecting on how some of the past elections were won using social media, or at least that was a major part of it. So they go back to the Obama campaign, and they're talking about how David Axelrod, who was, the campaign manager for Obama, they really used Google extremely well. At that point, really no presidential campaign had ever really done a major focus on social media. Okay. And obviously they were going for younger people too, and all that. And so they basically worked it out with Google. And my understanding is totally legal. I think you still can, if Google chooses to want to help you, right? They can at the time they were able to make the search engines turn out like this. If there's any positive news on President Obama, that came out, it would be at the top of the search. Anything positive or is passed, right? Positive. Anything negative would get pushed back to page whatever, 1,000 or whatever it is. On his opponents, anything positive would get pushed back to page 1,000. Anything negative would be pushed up to page 1, page 2 on searches. And so
this was at a time when the public wasn't aware really of Google's search engine bias and censorship, which had already been taking place back then.
Yeah.
But we're still learning about these things. So now I think people are more, kind of more savvy and understand that this is happening. But back then that was completely unknown.
Yeah. And even then, we suspected things. I worked in entertainment quite a bit at that time, and social media was already a major part of your planning for an artist. We all knew how important search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff was, but we didn't really know the depth of it and how, other than ourselves internally, how can we manipulate it? Not how can we work with that engine to manipulate it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was very important. That was big. It really, that helped with the media, the mainstream media. When you combine that was a very big driving force in Barack Obama getting elected. And again, it was brilliant because my understanding is that was totally legal. It was paid for and it was legal. And, that was just smart. This is brilliant. So then Trump comes along and they're trying to figure out some of the social media, things that they could do. And at the time, he decided that he could not win in mainstream media. Okay, it was all fake or lies or skewed or whatever it was, and needed to find a way also to use the internet. Well, obviously he did it well, and he didn't have many choices either because he was already being somewhat centered in different things. But he used Twitter. Okay, became the biggest, most followers I think on Twitter at the time, if not maybe, probably still maybe. And that's the way he messaged. That's the way you guys message out. And whether it was, campaign or platform stuff or crazy, goofy stuff, it drew attention. And I firmly believe, and I've had people tell me that some of the mean tweets or some of the just stuff that was a little odd, was intentional because he knew that would get picked up, which would draw people over to Twitter to follow him, to then get his real platform, his real news. Okay. And I think that obviously worked. And I really believe, and I'm sure many people do, without Twitter, I don't think he would have been elected.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
That was his messaging. You have to get a message out. I mean, that goes back to, ancient times. If you control the message, you control the outcome.
And truly before, and we're going to go back to the meeting. Don't worry. We're not out here, but truly before, and this is the double-edged sword of social media and the advent of the internet. Before that, there truly was no independent way to get your message out. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had someone like, candidates like Ross Perot that ran and that were obviously, I mean, he did really well for the time, but he was also really well connected and very rich. So that did help with the cause. But truly, you didn't have a way to get your message out because mainstream media was 100% focused on the mainstream candidates.
Yes.
The parties and the media worked in concert, and there's a realm in which you could move. And if you move outside of that realm, it's simply not going to be mentioned. That's the thing. They're just ignoring you. So I think that gradually it came out. Obama 1, Obama 2nd campaign, and then the Trump campaign that really brought out the incredible power, and hence it's been since shut down and heavily censored because of that, because you couldn't control the messaging as well anymore. And I think that was part of that meeting, was that thought process. This is going to get censored too. So what else, right? What else?
Right. And that's where we were going. We were looking forward. The meeting was based on looking forward, right? And so, okay, Twitter worked. It's great. We know we're not going to have Twitter in the future. And sure enough, he's banned off of it.
Thank you so much for watching. And to watch the full interview with Insider James, please join us in the Inspired community on the Locals platform, where we will share the full interview and uncensored, unfiltered content that we cannot share anywhere else. The Insider James conversations are part of the Unapologetically Free series, which is a subscription-based or supporter-based series. And so for $5 a month to $50 a year, you will get full access to all the uncensored, unfiltered content in our Inspired community. So please use the link down below, hop over, and join us there.